once again, guys. You're watching High Voltage Mayhem, and today I have an interesting video for you. As you can see, I came home with another project, so we'll be taking a look at a vintage fire truck. This is a 1979 Duplex Farrar. So this will be pretty interesting, as we don't usually do water stuff on this channel, mainly electrical. So before we get into this fire truck, I wanted to give you a brief update on what's happening on the ship. So I will be back on the Navy ship here pretty soon, on the destroyer and on the submarine. So I'll be doing some filming on the gyroscope, and relatively 2 to 3 days from now I'll be back on the ship. So that'll be a lot of fun. We'll have those gyroscope videos coming out soon, so I can get the last little bit of footage I needed to patch up those videos. And there's a lot of them already edited and ready to be released when I get back. But in the meantime, I wanted to show you this other project that I brought home. So without further ado, let's take a look at the fire truck and see what we got. Alright, so I know this is the update you guys have been waiting for, and I'm proud to introduce this new project. So hopefully together, as we explore this fire truck, we'll get a greater appreciation of how these machines work and for those who operate them. So let's take a brief walk around and see what we got going on. As you can see, this is the water tank right here. It holds 2,300 gallons, and of course we'll get into all the technical details in the next video. But that is quite the machine there. We've got two crosslays right there for a hose. We got one 2.5 inch and one 1.5 inch right there rolled up. Then of course there's a place for a monitor on top, so we'll be getting into that. I've got the monitor in the back actually, so we'll be having a lot of fun flowing water through those things. And as you can see, it's a beautiful machine right there. Farrar made this one. So it's a Duplex Farrar. The frame and all was made by Duplex. And of course Farrar made the body. And there aren't too many of those around anymore. As a matter of fact, this one being front pumper and Farrar is probably the last one left in existence today. There aren't many of these around. So this is quite the treat to be able to restore and preserve this firefighting history. As you can see, here's the pump panel. You got your vacuum pressure on the intake, and you got your main pressure right there. And then each discharge has its own pressure gauge on there. Then of course you got water temperature and oil right there. And then this is a cooler valve. That is to send water from the main circuit into the radiator. So that basically has a intercooler within the radiator to try to help cool stuff down in an emergency. But we'll get into why that doesn't work here in a little bit. And here's your Elkhart piston valve right here. This goes on the intake, and you got a Storz adapter so you can hook up your flexible line up to a hydrant and whatnot and get water. But when we draft, we won't need that. And oh, that'll be a fun part of our next video, as we'll show you how to draft. So we'll be using all this equipment. Pretty cool. It's got an old Federal Signal light bar on top. I don't know if you guys can see that. But that's the old kind right there. Old Federal Signal. And this one's missing a cab light. I just realized we're missing a cab light. I'll have to fix that here in the future. So yeah, we'll walk around the side and take a look. This truck runs great. It only has like 11,000 original miles on it, so it's not been used very much. It's just due for its first oil change, and then it was taken out of service. As you can see in the back here, we have an engine compartment and then a jump seat. So a firefighter can sit back here, and one can sit on the other side as well. And up inside that compartment, there's a VT903 Cummins diesel. So very good engine. Of course, they tend to have a bad reputation because people use them for long haul, and they weren't intended for that. But for this application, a 903 Cummins does pretty good on this fire truck. It hauls this weight no problem. Of course, this one being 53,200, that's quite a bit of weight. As you can see, we got a ladder and a pike right there. We got Allison automatic transmission, 4-speed. So let's take a look at the back and see what we got. Alright, so the back of the apparatus isn't in the best shape, really. As you can see, all that red primer I've been putting on there is to cover up a whole bunch of rust. So I had to treat all that rust and then coat it with a rust converter right there, and then we'll be painting over that back to its original color scheme. This truck has 10 discharges on it, and here's 2 of them. The smallest one being a 1.5 inch right there, which I'm surprised it has that. I guess that's just for little bitty small fires, whatnot. So, and then of course this truck's very industrial. Everything's 2.5 inch. As you can see, there's more brackets for tools and whatnot, and there's also nozzle brackets right there. Those all work. Then I'll raise you guys up a little bit so you can look inside the hose bed. You can see up there. That's where your lines go. So we'll get all of our hose up there, 2.5 inch and whatnot. Right now I've got them rolled up in storage. And then you can see up here, there's some small hard suction right there. We'll take a look at that. So you got some hard suction lines there. And then of course we got strobe lights on the back. Those are really neat. Xenon strobes. And then there is a power supply in here for the strobes. Of course, brake and reverse lights, everything works. This is a tank dump right here, so all the water within the apparatus itself can easily be discharged. I'll just give you a brief example of that. You pull this, and I'll sit you guys down. You can see just how much water comes out of there when you pull that lever. Wow. Quite a bit of water in these fire trucks. A lot of volume. Now, it'll do that for about a whole minute straight if you hold it open. That's 2,300 gallons is quite a bit of water. That tank drops down past that light and it runs all the way to the front where that engine is. So that's a lot of water, as you can see. Of course, a lot of compartment space. All these doors were so badly oxidized that they were not even red. You could write your name on it. So I've been buffing and paint correction on these and they're looking a whole lot better. Not done yet. Tires are looking all right. So yeah, that's basically it. You also got another jump seat back here and some scene lights. And then again, that's a place for the monitor. So I'll see if I can't back up here for a second and get you guys a view of what we're going to be working on. It's a nice looking truck. Let's go take a look inside the cab and I'll show you what we got in there. Alright, so we'll climb up inside of here so you can see the cab. It's quite the step up, so yeah. So here you go. This is a pretty unique dash because they got these square cutouts around all the gauges, so that is really cool. There's a wasp. Yeah! Alright, now that that wasp is gone, I think we can proceed to look at the dash. So like I said before, these square cutouts really impress me because I've never really seen too many trucks with those on there. Usually the rest were just chrome, so that's a pretty unique feature. I like the square anyways. So moving over to this panel, this is where the emergency lighting is. So everything down here, these pull switches, that's our roof lights and everything else. And we got rear lights, which are the xenon strobes back there. And then we got compartment lights and then underhood lights in the engine, which makes it really nice to work on at night. And then we got the front lights, which are alternating. So I've seen these alternating lights pretty standard on a lot of older apparatus, but not too many new ones since they got LEDs and strobes and whatnot. I don't really see these alternating lights anymore, but these are cool. And we also have compartment lights, so if someone leaves the door open, it'll give us an indicator on the dash, and we'll know not to take off without shutting the door first. And of course we got a lot of vintage bunker gear, all from the 70s. You can see that that is pretty old stuff. They don't use this yellow stuff anymore, but that'll be pretty cool. Oh, and the wiring is the absolute worst on this truck. I'll have to show you underneath what we got going on. So real quick under the dash, you'll notice that it is quite the nightmare. There's been a lot of people getting under here and adding circuits and removing stuff, and the original wiring is basically on its last leg, which probably explains how I bought this truck so cheap. But that's what we do on this channel. We just fix stuff, especially old stuff like this, so that'll be a lot of fun. Alright, last but not least, I wanted to show you guys inside the engine compartment so you can see this big old VT903. So here you got all your radiator stuff, big alternator, 120 amps on that. Then you can see there's a steering pump there, and a steering reservoir right there. Big air cleaner. And of course you got your turbo way off in there. So yeah, this is a pretty clean engine compartment. Everything was serviced just 2 years ago. So I'll be redoing a couple things here and there, hoses and lines like these. These are all stray lines and whatever, they put glue on there and whatnot. So just a little quick fixes in the electrical system should help us out a whole lot on this thing, because you can see it's pretty ratty off in there. Of course everything needs grease. It's probably due to grease this truck, honestly, so we'll be climbing under there and doing all that sort of thing. So other than that, this truck is really in good shape. Down there the U-joints are as tight as can be and everything is just pristine because this thing was really never used. So there you have it, guys. That's the engine compartment. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will meet you guys around back. So I just wanted to thank all you guys for being patient and waiting for this update, and there will be a lot of new content coming your way. So thank you all for watching. This is High Voltage Mayhem, and I will see you guys in the next video.